All right, y'all. As Trump try to distract us with everything else going on Washington D.C. and all the other dumb shit, we ain't gonna forget about these Epstein files. We're not gonna forget about them. Let's get into it.
But K-File's extensive reporting now shows the two shared a close social circle for nearly 2 decades, from private jet flights to high-profile parties, and that's only part of the story. Photos, flight logs, and court records help reveal how long their personal history really was. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski is here with all of that, and it is some extensive research and reporting that you all did. You've chronicled this relationship between Trump and Epstein from the 80s to what, mid 2000s is obviously when their contact probably cut off. What's the most striking thing that you find that kind of contradicts this? Donald Trump is no fan of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, so what we found, it really actually paints a portrait starting, as you said, in the 1980s up to the mid 2000s. It paints this portrait of a long, enduring friendship. I think there were several associates who have called them best friends. Epstein himself said that he was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years. And we looked through these hundreds of hours.
You know they were best friends. Come on, y'all. They've been taking pictures and all this stuff. Hey, we're gonna get into that later. But yeah, they were best friends. Best friends. Two creeps together. You wanna call him a creep, you a creep too.
Or on hundreds of hours of video, hundreds of photos. We went through documents from court files, exhibits from lawsuits. So we really chronicled this whole relationship through time. And one thing that I found really interesting was these flight logs from Epstein's private jet, which were part of that investigation into Ghislaine Maxwell. And they really tell you a story of how close these guys are. Look at just a few of them. This is in 1993, for instance. This is the same year that we found as well that Jeffrey Epstein attended Donald Trump's wedding to Marla Maples. Trump flew on that plane 4 times with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell between Palm Beach, where Mar-a-Lago is, and where Epstein also owns a home. Let's fast forward then to 1994. Trump flew from Palm Beach to Washington, D.C. with his then wife, Marla Maples, his daughter, Tiffany, and a nanny before they returned to New Jersey that day. In August 19...
All right. They had to be tight as a motherfucker. They just flying all over the goddamn place. Shit, me and my other homeboy, you know what I'm saying? The first motherfucking place we going to the goddamn corner store. You know what I'm saying? We can hop in the goddamn little hoopty. We going to the goddamn corner store. These motherfuckers getting in jets. Flying all over. Man, you know how much it is to fill up a goddamn jet? Man, y'all gotta be friends, man. Cause damn, I don't even, when I'm taking them to the corner store, I'm charging gas money. What the fuck you talking about?
1995, just he and Eric were on board with Epstein and Maxwell again. They flew from Palm Beach to Teterboro in New Jersey. And then in January 1997, Trump flew with the pair from Palm Beach to Newark, New Jersey. All of these trips, 8 in total, were documented in logs that I mentioned were from that trial.
You also took a look at what Donald Trump himself has said about Jeffrey Epstein. What did you find?
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things that's always been so striking is that quote that he said in 2002 that we found in that New York Magazine article where he said he was a terrific guy. He liked beautiful women just like him. And then that quote where he says he likes many of them on the younger side. That was from an article entitled Jeffrey Epstein, International Money Man of Mystery in New York Magazine. Now, just 2 years later, we were going through Donald Trump's book, and there he had one called How to Get Rich.
And this was way after the Virginia Dupre. I hope I'm saying her name right. You know what I'm saying? After she, you know what I'm saying? He's saying Epstein so-called stole her. That man, these years and years later. So he was still kicking him with the fucking dude. He was still talking about the dude was cool. But he like girls on the young. You still kicking him with him, so you like him too. What the fuck are you gonna kick him with the motherfucker that, hey, man, me and him, we was cool. I say we was cool, you know what I'm saying? But this dude started doing some old crazy ass shit, so I don't fuck with him like that no more. That's how you do it. Man, you was still kicking it with the dude.
And then we wrote in his book that somebody named Mysterious Jeffrey had called him, and that you could see it right there. That's the passage from his book. He says Jeffrey calls in, but there's actually a lot of activity between these two in 2004. One of the things that was seized from Jeffrey Epstein's home during that initial investigation to him in the mid-2000s were message pads. And on those message pads, there were two, if you look here, two messages from Donald Trump in November of 2004. This is around the time the two of them actually were competing to buy a property in West Palm Beach. Trump ultimately won out. He beat Epstein, and this.
And I told y'all, the only reason why they stopped talking and started messing with each other, because this right here, they fell out because Trump went around and got the deal, you know what I'm saying, under Epstein, you know what I'm saying, knows, you know what I'm saying, he cheated them at the deal, you know what I'm saying, and they fell out. And then Trump, you know what I'm saying, was trying to say, okay, since we fell out, I'm kicking you out of my club. That was all it is. It wasn't about no girls, none of that shit. He kicked them out the club because they fell out. And Epstein said some crazy ass shit about him, you know what I'm saying? And Trump kicked him out the club. But here we go. It's coming like y'all. It's gonna come like.
This is allegedly part of what made their relationship deteriorate.
Yeah, Donald Trump's talked about that as well. Your review also, I mean, you looked also through tons of photos and tons of video of Trump and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell together from Mar-a-Lago to here in Manhattan. Walk us through kind of some of those moments that you found.
Yeah, Kate, and these images, they really speak for themselves. In November 1992, there's an image that a lot of people have seen, and it's of Trump and Epstein, and they're dancing there. You can see with models. I think you can see Ghislaine Maxwell in the background if you look. She was there just a second ago. Just a year later, we had found, or previously, Epstein was at Trump's wedding in 1993. That's the photo there on the left. 1997, you can see in that photo on the right, that's them at a Victoria's Secret Angels event. And then in 1990.
Okay, now if this is not your boy, ain't no damn way he gonna be at my goddamn wedding. No way. You know what I'm saying? If you a creep and all the rest of that shit y'all trying to say you thought he was, you gonna have him around your family members and all the rest of that shit. Come on, man. Stop fucking playing with me. You already knew what he was about and everything else. You really didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You probably just said, keep my family all limits. You know, but come on. And then after that, y'all kept doing fucking damn modeling. Just you and him. Victoria's Secret. Then y'all having secret ass goddamn parties with, you know what I'm saying, look, underage girls and shit. What the hell? This ain't, we ain't gonna forget about this. No, this we ain't gonna forget about this.
99. This that I found in some archives. It was Trump and Epstein, and they're actually chatting at a Victoria's Secret fashion show. In 1997, he was also photographed with Maxwell at a fashion show. These guys attended a lot of fashion shows together, it looks like. And then in February of 2000, there was an event in Mar-a-Lago that featured not only Trump, Epstein, and Maxwell, but also Prince Andrew was also at this event, and these images were initially published in the Palm Beach Post.
Now, hold on. I gotta say something about this because it's a video going on, or there's a video out there where Trump actually threw Prince Andrews up under the bus, talking about some, you know what I'm saying, he got a lot of problems with the Epstein Island and all that. But he was at your motherfucking party too, dog. He was at your party. He was at your party kicking it with you. You and him and Epstein, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no, come on, man. Y'all were cool. Y'all was cool. All y'all. Let's go.
In the year 2000. So there's a lot of public appearances, and it definitely undercuts Trump's claim that he was not a fan and they were sort of just distant acquaintances.
So what is the president saying about this?
So we reached out to the White House. We asked them about all of this, and it's on CNN.com. If you read the timeline, it's very extensive. They didn't respond to any of the detailed questions that we sent, but Stephen Chung, who is the communications director for the sent along a statement, said, quote, "The fact is that the president kicked him out of his club for being a creep." So it's going to be interesting to see, because he says they weren't close. He says he was not a fan, but we continue to just see more and more revelations come out.
Yeah.
And we come to find out that's a lie. Because even though, you know what I'm saying, all the other stuff had happened in Mar-a-Lago and everything else, he still kept him there. He still kept him there. He let him stay there until they fell out over business, over money. Not over no things he was doing to the young ladies that was there. Trump didn't give a care about that. He cared about the money. That's the only thing they would feel out about.
We've heard that similar statement from Stephen Chung many times about questions that linger. It's great to see you. Great reporting as always. Thanks, Andrew. A key figure in the Epstein case, who later worked for President Trump, could soon be called to testify under oath. Alex Acosta was the prosecutor who infamously gave Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal in 2008, a deal that allowed Epstein to serve minimal time in prison, and a deal that shut down the federal investigation into his alleged sex trafficking ring. Acosta then went on to serve as Trump's first-term labor secretary. For reasons unknown, Acosta...
Okay. So we finna jump into another whole situation. This dude Acosta, he investigated the judge and gave him the sweetest deal. I think like 18 months or something like this in prison, but he get 12 hours out every freaking day and all that damn crazy ass shit for prostitution when he was doing a ring and you knew he was doing a ring, but you knew what you wanted to do. You wanted to get party and you wanted to get a cabinet position in Trump back then, Trump administration. And you probably knew Trump was in them damn fouls. And that's how you probably got the goddamn position in the first place, because you knew Trump was in the foul. Trump knew he was in the foul. So yeah, he gave it to you. Yeah, he gave it to you. But then you got fired right after when everybody started talking about it. So let's go, y'all. I ain't trying to talk too much. Let's go. I just had to put a little history to it.
Acosta, the man who would know everything about the Epstein case, was left off the House Oversight Committee's list of subpoenaed witnesses. But tonight, a Republican on that committee, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, is telling the Palm Beach Post that calling Acosta to testify is not, quote, off the table. She also says at any time he can be called to testify. I'm going to speak to the top Democrat on that committee in a moment about plans to subpoena Acosta, because even though dozens of victims had come forward at that point, Acosta, as I mentioned, let Epstein off easy, allowed him to plead guilty to just 2 prostitution-related charges. Epstein served only 13 months in a county jail and was allowed to leave the jail nearly every day for 12 hours.
13 months and was allowed to leave the jail 12 hours a day. He got 12 hours to go commit crimes. You got 12 hours to do, to hurt young women and then come back to jail. What the fuck? Come on, y'all.
Hours. The Department of Justice review later found that Acosta exercised poor judgment in the case, although he continued to defend his actions years after the case was closed.
There was value to getting a guilty plea. You can always look at a play after the fact and say, should it have been the safe play or should you have gone for the big score?
This comes as President...
Yeah, motherfucker, you should have went for the big goddamn score. But you know what? You was scared about the big score because you knew who the big score was. That motherfucker taking the podium right down. You knew you want to be part of his regime or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you chose not to go after the big fish. And gave the little fish even pardon. You know what I'm saying? Gave him, a little slap on the hand. So yeah. That's why, man, come on, man. But yeah, he subpoenaed his ass too.
President Trump is, many think, trying to change the subject from Epstein as he threatens a full-on federal takeover of Washington, D.C. But it's Trump's own party who won't let Epstein go.
The American people are sick and tired of this government holding on to all these secrets. They're sick and tired of being lied to by the intelligence community and by a deep state. I hope that we don't have to wait 60, 70 years to find out what really happened when it came to Jeffrey Epstein.
Kristen Holmes is out front at the White House for us tonight. Kristen, just as President Trump was trying to shift attention to D.C., his takeover of the police department there, members of his own party are making Epstein front and center again.
They are, Kate. And just to be clear, I mean, President Trump, the White House, they don't want to be talking about this. And you talk about